Have you ever noticed a little ache in your bones when you climb the stairs? Or maybe you've caught yourself thinking, I don't stand quite as straight as I used to. Well, you're not alone. As we get older, our bones need a little extra love, and I'm not just talking about taking care when you bend down to garden or pick up the grandkids. Today, we're chatting about something so many of us face but don't always talk about: osteoporosis. Now, that's a big word, but all it means is that our bones can become a bit more fragile over time. But here's the good news: Mother Nature's given us some delicious tools to fight back. And no, I'm not handing out prescriptions or complicated diets. We're keeping it simple, tasty, and totally doable. In fact, let me show you 7 everyday foods that can help keep your bones strong. Starting with 3 of my favorites right here. Let's start with an old friend, dairy. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking: milk? Really? Isn't that for kids? But here's the thing. Dairy is packed with calcium, the very building block our bones crave. A glass of milk, a slice of cheese, or a creamy yogurt parfait in the morning. These aren't just comfort foods. They're like a daily insurance policy for your bones. And if dairy doesn't sit well with you anymore, hey, that happens to a lot of us after 60. There's no need to miss out. Try lactose-free milk or calcium-fortified almond or oat milk. Even a spoonful of Greek yogurt in your smoothie can work wonders. The key is to make it yours. My neighbor, Ruth, swears by her evening cup of warm milk with a dash of cinnamon. She says it's like a hug for her bones and her taste buds. Now, let's move to the garden. If you've ever grown kale or spinach in your backyard, you're already ahead of the game. Leafy greens are like nature's multivitamin for bones. They're loaded with calcium, sure, but they also bring vitamin K to the party, a nutrient that helps your body use that calcium effectively. Think of it as the perfect teamwork. And don't worry, you don't have to chew on a mountain of raw spinach. Toss a handful into soups, stir-fries, or even your morning scrambled eggs. My husband, Jim, used to turn his nose up at greens until I started sneaking them into his favorite chili. Now, he asks for seconds. All right, let's reel in our third superstar: fatty fish. Salmon, mackerel, sardines. These aren't just tasty. They're treasure troves of vitamin D, and here's why that matters. Vitamin D is the sidekick calcium needs to get absorbed into your bones. Without it, all that calcium you're eating might just, well, go to waste. Now, if cooking fish feels intimidating, keep it simple. A grilled salmon fillet with lemon and herbs takes 15 minutes. Or try canned sardines on toast. It's a classic for a reason. My friend, Harold, loves his Friday fish nights so much. He's started inviting the grandkids over. Turns out, crispy baked salmon bites are a hit with the little ones, too. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Is it really this simple? Just eat these foods? And the answer is yes. Small, steady choices add up. Think of your bones like a savings account. Every bite of yogurt, every leafy green, every piece of fish is like depositing a little strength for the future. And the best part? These aren't bland health foods. They're ingredients that can spark joy in your meals. But we're just getting started. There are more delicious, everyday foods waiting in the wings that can help keep you standing tall and feeling strong. So, let's keep this conversation going. You know, one of the things I love most about eating for stronger bones is how vibrant these foods are. They're not just good for you, they're alive with color, texture, and flavor. And that's exactly what we're diving into next. So, let's talk about a little powerhouse you might already have in your pantry: nuts and seeds. Now, nuts and seeds are like nature's crunchy little bone boosters. Almonds, for example, are packed with calcium. Just a small handful gives you about 10% of your daily needs. And walnuts? They bring omega-3s to the table, which help keep inflammation in check. But here's my favorite trick: chia seeds. These tiny guys swell up in liquid. making them perfect for puddings or even just stirred into your morning juice. My sister, Margaret, swears by her chia jam. Just mashed berries and a spoonful of seeds left overnight. Spread it on toast, and boom, you've got a sweet treat that loves your bones right back. Now, let's move to something that might surprise you: beans and lentils. I know, beans don't always get the glamorous reputation. But hear me out. These humble little legumes are loaded with magnesium, a mineral that teams up with calcium to keep your bones dense and strong. And the best part? They're so versatile. A cozy lentil soup on a chilly evening, black beans in a zesty taco, or even just a scoop of hummus with your veggies, it all counts. My grandson, Tommy, calls my white bean and garlic dip magic paste. He has no idea it's secretly fortifying his bones while he snacks. And now, let's talk about a food that's often overlooked but deserves a standing ovation: prunes. Yes, prunes. These sweet, chewy little fruits are famous for keeping things moving, but they're also bone heroes. Studies show that eating just 5 or 6 prunes a day can help slow bone loss. And before you make a face, trust me, they're not the prunes your grandma used to force on you. Try them chopped up in oatmeal, blended into a smoothie, or even wrapped in a slice of prosciutto for a fancy little bite. My book club ladies went wild when I served them dark chocolate-dipped prunes last month. Nobody even realized they were eating a bone-strengthening superfood. Now, I'll be honest, when I first learned about all this, I thought, how am I supposed to remember to eat all these things every day? But here's the secret: you don't have to. It's not about perfection, it's about adding in where you can. Maybe it's tossing a handful of almonds into your purse for a snack, or stirring chia seeds into your yogurt without a second thought. Small steps, my friends, because the goal isn't to overhaul your life, it's to weave these choices into your days so naturally you barely notice. And guess what? We've still got 2 more delicious foods to explore that can make a real difference. So, let's keep going. As we've been talking about these bone-loving foods, I've been thinking about my Aunt Helen. She lived to be 98, and let me tell you, she was sharp as a tack and still tending her rose bushes right up until the end. But what I remember most was how she'd always have a little dish of something wholesome nearby: a handful of nuts, a few dried figs, or a cup of herbal tea with honey. She never made a big fuss about health food. She just knew what kept her feeling good. And that's exactly the spirit I want to bring to our last 2 foods today: simple, everyday choices that add up to something powerful. So, let's talk about figs. Now, these sweet gems, whether fresh or dried, are like nature's candy. But they're also packed with bone-friendly nutrients. Just 2 dried figs give you a nice dose of calcium, magnesium, and potassium, all working together to keep your skeleton sturdy. And the best part? They're delicious. Slice them onto toast with a little goat cheese. Chop them into your morning cereal, or just enjoy them as they are. My neighbor, Ed, keeps a jar of dried figs in his glove compartment for long drives. He calls them his road trip bone savers, and at 78, he still plays tennis twice a week. And finally, let's give a round of applause to whole grains. Now, I'm not talking about cardboard like bread or flavorless crackers. I mean hearty, nutty grains like quinoa, brown rice, and oats. These are rich in magnesium and fiber, which help your body hold onto the minerals your bones need. And here's a fun tip: if you soak your oats overnight, they'll be easier to digest and even more nutritious. My grandson calls my cinnamon-soaked oats grandma's porridge, and he has no idea it's quietly building his bones while he gobbles it down. Now, as we wrap up, I want you to remember this: you don't have to eat all these foods every day. This isn't about rules or restrictions, it's about options. Maybe this week you'll add a few prunes to your snack routine. Or next month you'll try a new lentil soup recipe. Small steps, taken with kindness toward yourself, are what really matter. Because here's the truth. Your bones aren't just some lifeless scaffold holding you up. They're alive, constantly renewing themselves, and the foods you eat are the bricks and mortar they use to rebuild. So why not give them the best materials possible? I'd love to hear from you. What's your favorite bone-strengthening food? Do you have a family recipe or a clever trick to make these foods part of your day? Drop a comment below and let's keep this conversation going. And if you found this helpful, do me a favor. Hit that like button and share it with a friend who might need a little extra bone love too. After all, we're in this together. Here's to strong bones, delicious meals, and living every day with joy and ease. Thanks for joining me. Now go enjoy something tasty and good for you. You've earned it.